smoke and dryers.
Right.
I didn't want that.
But why do we want thermal imaging?
Because I might actually see something cross.
What are you going to see? Cold spots. Yes, that's what we're waiting for. Bingo, bingo. So I don't have a bell to ring. So quick demo for everybody. You guys should be able to see me in there, right? Red, orange, and yellow guy. So everything around me should be somewhat blue or black. So the blue or black spots hopefully will move tonight. So that's what we're looking for. Those blue and black spots are going to be in your frame. But again, until they start moving, I'm going to pretty much call BS on everything until I see something moving. The nice thing is that this guy does record audio and video. You will get this full video back. We will play start and stop with certain locations. As great as the hardware is, the software sucks. So if we play it, like record for too long, we will lose all footage. So I'll say, let's go ahead and get that stopped, give it a little bit of a break, and then we'll wait 5-10 minutes and get it started up again. It's already recording. Go ahead and take that from me. You're going to keep the camera on your left-hand side. So it's already there. That's where the wire is. So you're going to see 2 dots on your screen, especially when you guys watch it tomorrow morning. You're going to see a center crosshairs in case Doug wants to measure something directly to kind of get a base temperature of something. There's also going to be a blue dot that bounces around the screen. It's going to give us the coldest spot in the frame at that particular moment. It's going to move rapidly. He has a cheat sheet right now because I leave a temperature bar on there. It does not go on the video, however. If all he wanted to do tonight was watch that bar to see if there was a good 25 to 45 degree difference between the highest and the lowest, he can do that. However, you guys won't have that tomorrow. If he does see something crazy, I'm sure he's going to say something, and it does record audio. So that's first and foremost. So,
okay.
Even when we do stop the video and re-record it again, you're going to keep that camera on your left. Otherwise, it goes to YouTube and I splice it all together. Otherwise, it's going to go upside down and these guys are all going to get ticked and email you. And no, I'm kidding.
So you said cold spots usually range from like 25, 40 degree differences?
It depends. That's when I get excited. Will I get excited about something about 15 that's not supposed to be there and moving? I will. However, 25 to 45 is usually it's undeniable at that point.
It's a bit chilly. Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit. So we're going to be using several different types of spirit boxes tonight.
Okay.
So yours will not record, and I'm going to be trying a different kind of method with you tonight. This one in particular will sweep through the FM radio station. So for those of you that don't watch the TV shows, is anybody here that doesn't watch the TV shows? Am I speaking a different language than Josh? Yeah. All right. So spirit boxes are basically radio sweepers. They're going to sweep through FM radio stations at a very quick rate. Cool. Mine are slowed down. On the TV shows, it's where Zach Bagans gives you the BS he thinks he heard in the middle of it, and then he's trying to get you to believe it. Right. We're going to be doing that in real time. Mine are slowed down because I want the radio DJs, the song lyrics, and the commercials to come through. So in the event you hear any of those 3 types of voices, I want you to basically say what you hear. I'm sure you're going to be stuck to Doug's side all night. So his records audio. You're going to have an earbud in. I have fresh earbuds that I give to you. I don't want them back because another person will have them as well. So you just hang on to them and you can listen in whenever you want to. So that way, whenever you hear something, it'll record on this end. The other one of these that I'm going to pass out to one of your group is going to have a recorder on it. You will get that full recording back. It doesn't record outside noise. It just records the radio sweep. So let me get you a fresh set of earbuds, and there is a hole on the side here. Your volume button is at the very top. It's a wheel. So you're going to control your own volume. And there are several. Go ahead and pull one of those little baggies out. They just came in today.
Okay.
Handing out baggies of stuff, guys. So.
Just don't pull your cash out right
I know, right? So, this one will record the entire session for us all night. So whoever has this one, we will know everything that you've heard all night long. So if you want to actually say out loud what you heard, I'm going to be asking you anyway. But at the same token, Sam's like, I don't know about this one. So, do you want this one?
Sure, I'll take that one.
All right, so let me set it up to record because this one does have an SD card in it. So again, little volume wheel at the top, and I will get you a set of earbuds. And this, I haven't done earbuds on the tour before, so 2 years everybody's been listening in open air. So go ahead and pull one of those little baggies out.
So clean, so sanitary.
I know, right? Straight from the Amazon box. So, all right, what do we want to get into next? We're already talking about spirit boxes, so let's go into another one. This one works a little bit differently. So this one is going to give us, as soon as I want to stir it up, it's going to give us a word from time to time in the center of the screen where those 3 dots are. Okay, so this is a phone app. Just keep that in mind. here's what I'm going to tell you about this word list, because it's going to save all of the words to one full list. Last night's tour, we had over 88 terms, so that was quite a bit that came through. Theirs actually was a really great list because a lot of it was relevant to the locations of where we were. So 80% of what normally comes out of this is absolute bullshit. It doesn't mean anything. This thing is meant to be a game and a hoax. We're going to legitimately haunted locations where I have paranormal activity night after night. So, in the event something is relevant, I will put it in bold, give you the reason why, and give you the link to show you where I got my information from pertinent to that specific location. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, sir.
All right. So the first word we actually have is September. Ironically, we're standing next to Big John's, which is, I actually tell the story of Big John's, but I'm going to tell you, I already know for a fact that Big John's birthday is in September. So we already have our first word that's going to be relevant. So Kelsey, whenever I say where we at with the word list, you're going to hit the little scroll to the right of the word, and it'll bring you up all the words. You'll be able to scroll through it, and the only other button you want to hit is the top right.
Okay.
You got it.
2 buttons, easy enough.
2 buttons.
They come out of the
I
air.
think I can handle it.
All right. So
The words come out of the air, right?
words come. Well, the claim on the app is that it's coming from radio stations, the same way we're doing with the S-Boxes, right? But the game we're playing, is it actually coming from the app or is it coming from a ghost? That's why it's an 80% bullshit, 20% is going to be relevant.
Okay.
So, next piece. This is the neuralizer for Men in Black. None of you are going to remember anything. Lasers.
Ooh.
Yeah, pretty, right?
Pretty.
So, lasers are actually, this is going to be one of the final tours that I use lasers, probably over the next couple of weeks, because we're going to be adding in an SLS camera. So if you're not familiar with that, that's the Stickman camera. So we're having one built. We got a few weeks before it's done, so a couple more weeks on the lasers. Lasers get Nick in a lot of trouble. So you're already eyeballing me, so it's probably not going to go to you. So lasers, this one will probably go up the road a good mile or two. Like, it's going to go far. So
You're responsible.
with this guy, you can see the pen, you can see the dots, but you can't see the lasers until something passes through it. So we're literally going to be taking hundreds and hundreds of pictures through these lasers to hopefully capture something tomorrow morning when I'm going through these photos. It is not an in-the-moment type catch. By the time something passes through it, hopefully we have the picture that's there. It's going to be gone. You don't pull out the camera because you think you saw something. That's the mentality behind this. So we use green dots. We also use red squares. We use them side by side. We don't cross the streams. I know, bad Ghostbuster joke, but it does work here. So red squares, if we capture a picture here, I can then put it in 3D software and give you a full 3D view of what we caught along with measurements. Do I have anything yet? I've had this guy almost a year. I have a few things that got really, really close, but nothing that was like solid concrete. Here's a full apparition in the middle of the red grid. I do have anomalies that I cannot explain. So you seem very responsible and serious. We're going to go with you. You're going to keep those on the ground. Is that the wrong choice?
That is the wrong choice.
Pass them back.
Just stand over here.
All right. You're going to take the pictures.
Oh my god!
What's that?
I said this ghost is calling me back.
I lost her name already.
Jackie.
Jackie. Point one of your lasers on the ground for me. All right. So you are going to be taking pictures literally through the lasers this way. Not down at them. I know what the dots look like. We want to capture something here. So as she's shining her lasers out, you're going to be kind of going off to the side and taking literally hundreds and hundreds of pictures. The more still the both of you are, the more clear the picture we're going to actually have.
This I can handle.
Okay.
I love how you all called me irresponsible.
I know. See how that worked out?
All right, this is already freaking me out.
Are you getting stuff already?
No,
Oh.
I'm just scared.
You don't even have the earbud in yet. That's funny. All right. So, TV shows, Josh, we're going to keep it nice and simple for you. You guys have all seen these for those of you that have watched the TV shows, right? So this is the standard K2 meter. It's going to measure electromagnetic fields. Electronics and devices will make it go off, just so you know. So again, that's my cell phone making it go into a rhythm or a pulse. We don't want rhythms or pulses. We just want it to go erratic. Like when it starts going crazy and we can't make out a rhythm, you got to let us know. That's our first way of debunking what's actually happening. Cool. So, this.
See, I'm responsible.
Perfect. Okay.
Is it,
Kia,
which direction am I supposed to
Beyond.
point
Got it.
this?
What's that?
Like this way or that way?
It's going to be touching it if it's moving. Okay. It's not pointing, it's no lasers, it's literally on. All right, so this guy's called a millimeter. So to be honest, it's going to be all about you. This device does 3 different functions. So the first thing it's going to have is it's going to have an EMF reader just like Josh's. Anything above 2.5, we want to know what's going on. That's your big number at the top. The bottom number, if Doug finds something on his camera, we can debunk what's happening or prove what's happening based on the yellow probe. It's going to give us ambient temperature. The last thing that it has is it has a REM pod built into it. So if something gets close to this guy, it will go off. That's the antenna at the top. The closer it gets, the higher it's going to go. So I will show you more about the REM pod at our first location. This is literally just a quick round robin to get these devices in your hand so we can get going. So for now, leave the little flap open in the back, but focus on the 2 red numbers, get used to how those move around on there. You get to carry the bag, Jesse. All right.
How does it feel, Pack Mule?
Actually, he gets the brand new device.
Jesse. Oh.
What is
Looks
that?
fancy.
I know, right?
So, yeah, actually it is. That's my wife letting me know she made it home okay.
All right.
So, you guys should not be able to see me in that camera, right? Pretty dark in there. I know it's a
Yeah.
small screen.
Very good.
Very dark. Let's turn on some lights. We're working with full spectrum lighting. So we're obviously lights you can't see with your own eyes. So hopefully we'll be able to see something we shouldn't be able to see with our own eyes.
Okay.
So again, start and stops on this because the files on this are huge. So there's only 90 minutes worth of video, so we're going to kind of savor it. We're not going to start off recording. And again, I'm going to show you more about your video once we get to that first location. So the videos I usually work with first. So are you right or left-handed?
Right.
Perfect. It's already set up there. So there you go. You are the GoPro man. All right, guys, go have fun. I'll see you in 2 hours. Like this. Just making sure everybody's paying attention. So I had a person run one night, like, all right, sweet, we got his gear. We're out of here. All right, so everybody's got something, correct? Everybody's working together. In your party of 7, I'm okay with you guys intermingling, as long as you guys are comfortable with that. Just don't intermingle with these 2 over here. So that's why I gave them 2 very specific, very active tools, so that way they can be kind of back and forth with their own. So let's start with Big John's. Any questions, comments, concerns so far?
Do you mean intermingling, like switching stuff?
Yeah.
Or, oh,
I'm okay with that, as long as you guys are. So again, you guys booked one party. I don't know the relationship between y'all. So
We
again,
hate each other.
y'all hate each other. That's
You
not
called
cool.
me irresponsible.
You're never gonna hear the end of that.
This is gonna be a long night, Doug. Are you ready?
I
Yeah.
know, so.
I'm part of a regional purchasing team. Rude.
I just think you're irresponsible with lasers.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, at least you
At
mentioned.
least we clarified it, right? Okay, Big John. Let's get this going. So Big John was, you guys probably already know about Big John's a little bit. You know, it just reopened just a few months ago, actually. So maybe about 2 months ago, it's been reopened. So it used to be called Big John's, as you can see, back in 1955. But Big John was an actual football player for the 1947 New York Giants. So he owned the bar. It was his. It was named after him. He sat in the back of the bar and used to tell the bartender if the cadets coming over from the Citadel if they were old enough to drink or not. One night, 2 guys come in, they're old enough to drink. Does the bartender throw them out? They leave pretty pissed off. They come back the next night and they try to steal the cash register from in front of them. So Big John sees what's going on. He gets up from the bar, just starts pounding these guys into the floor, beating the hell out of them. So a couple of shots go off. John gets hit in the neck and a bullet lands in the wall. Yeah, not very cool. After being shot, John gets up, goes back to the bartender, and he tells him to get him another beer, get the 2 guys on the floor, and ambulance. So, first off, nobody died in that story. And second, John's the one that got shot. He's also the only one that got up. So, what's haunting the place is the bullet hole. It's allegedly still here. After the renovations, I haven't had a chance to get back in there and check to see if it's still there, but people that sit in the front of the bar tend to get a little queasy, nauseous, or headache. It's based on the paranormal activity that's there. I bring this story up on purpose because I don't know how paranormal activity is going to affect any of you. I've had people pass out on this tour. Just last week, I had somebody pass out and it wasn't too hot. I'll explain at the location because it is definitely relevant to that specific story. However, anybody feels any of those kind of symptoms, I need to know immediately so that we can get everybody to safety and get that person feeling better about it. Fair?
Sounds good.
Okay, that is literally the scariest thing I will tell you all night. So, you guys are all from here, so let's move on. You already know we had a big earthquake here in 1886, right? It's in every damn history book that we have. So this is allegedly where the first earthquake occurred, or first death occurred from that earthquake. The mantle you see in the middle also goes on the East Bay side, and a piece of that mantle fell off, struck somebody in the back of the head, and killed him. They say you can see his ghost in the middle of the East Bay Street. I got that from the previous bar owner of Kane Rum Bar. So if you guys remember Kane Rum Bar when I was here. But that he used to see shadows in the middle of East Bay on his way out the door. So again, I don't have any proof of it other than his word. It's just a great segue story, so none of you are thinking about getting sick on the tour. So, are you guys ready to go ghost hunting?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. You ready back there? You're going to be Mr. Quiet all night, aren't you?
I'm going to speak up at some point.
Okay. Hopefully he does. All right. We're going to go this way.
People crashing. Car costs so much. The horse smell is comforting.
That was actually an apology for my wife because she butt dialed me as she got into her car. So, and I don't know if you guys caught her ringtone, but it's I'm not a witch, I'm your wife. So you guys are gonna find I'm a big movie buff, obviously with my little Men in Black neuralizer thing. So you guys are gonna find movie quotes throughout the night. If you guess them, it's kudos to you. So Jesse's smiling, so he must be a big movie buff as well. So, all right, so your entire time with me, guys, should be thought of as kind of like a ghost hunting 101. This is a very simple spot. Really? Love Friday nights. Great. So, this is a very simple spot, one-line history. It's just so I can bounce around literally with every single one of you and show you more tactics with your device and get you guys used to listening to your spirit boxes, and you guys are going to have to give me some serious feedback on those earbuds. I want to make sure they're working okay. So, this is the big red barn lot, right? This is where we keep the horses for your carriage rides. Well, Taurus carriage rides, but you guys don't take anymore. George, look what we got here. So, this is the same red barn where we held horses that delivered milk and eggs to the residents of Charleston. So 1860s to 1920s, roughly. So, spirit boxes. This is not TV. This is not, is somebody here? Because if somebody says no, somebody's here. Okay? So we're just going to stay away from yes and no questions all night long. Now, I know it's going to be weird without having the static with all of us to hear, but you guys are literally going to be asking questions to your 3 spirit boxes out loud. That's the way you get responses. So, we're still pretty close to Big John's, but in the event you want to try to get in touch with somebody here specifically as I'm bouncing around with everybody, if somebody's here, tell me what color the big red barn is. Obviously, we're going to be looking and listening for the color red. The 2 of you are using DJs and song lyrics to convey messages. So the word red might not be there. Fire truck, blood, heart. All 3 of those things are specifically red. That would make sense. What color is the big red barn? Heart. I would take that as an acceptable answer. However, all of a sudden we have the word art on Kelsey's list, and Sam here's the number 40. That's 2 clues that'll verify each other, even though they didn't ask that specific question. Art Faircloth was number 40 on Big John's team. I usually require 2 clues to verify something. You're going to find a lot of Charleses, Elizas, and Georges and that kind of thing throughout the night because these are just common names from the time periods we're talking about. We need to know who the hell we're talking to. You guys are all here for some kind of paranormal proof, right? So that's what we're going to go after. No yes or no questions. So, spirit boxes, in the event you don't get an answer to what color is the big red barn, what's inside the barn? Delivery, milk, eggs. Like, these are all key words. I will always emphasize key words of things that commonly come up when I'm giving these tours night after night. So in the event something else pops up, I'm going to say, oh, well, maybe I need to dive into that. You get the name Jason or something along that line. I don't know if there was a Jason on the team. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to have to look it up tomorrow morning. So I'll dive into it. So open it up and see what kind of happens with that. As far as the rest of you, lasers. What are the lasers again? The horses don't like lasers. So no shining on the building. Lasers can also set off car alarms. No pressure. So you want to definitely keep those on the ground and up to 5 feet in front of you only. So you start shining them in windows and whatnot, we're going to have the cops, I'm going to be arrested. We'll just put it out there. So it's not fun to run with 9 other people. I got the heavy backpack, so I got all the batteries and all of that. So as far as the EMF readings go, so anything above 2.5 on yours, and we want to see if, I haven't seen anything go on with yours yet, Josh, so again, sometimes it starts when we come in, sometimes they wait until we leave. We just never know. Spirit boxes, you should be following these two guys right here. They're going to know where those hot spots are based on the EMF readings they're going to get. But as far as the lasers go, again, you're basically in a perfect position. So if your lasers are shined out, you should be taking pictures this way through the lasers. So I'm going to work with the two videos first. Everybody else spread out, stay within the confines of the lot, and kind of get used to your devices, and I'll be following up with every one of you. So 2 videos.
Okay, we're supposed to follow them?
You can follow any, like either Josh or Dia.
So, like, what kind of questions are we supposed to be asking?
What color is the big red barn? Get something you know the answers to. I just want you to get used to it.
Okay. So,
All right.
I'm going to go follow them.
Okay.
Obviously, she knows people here, so I think she'll be safe.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to be coming to you next to show you more about that REM pod. So let me wrap up with these gentlemen. All right. So your particular camera pointed at the wall for me. We want to try to keep somebody's skin tone in there. Now you should have bled out to a reddish color, I'm guessing. So watch what happens when my hand gets into view. See how the wall turned blue?
Yep.
You want to try to keep somebody's skin tone in there because we want that variation of color. It's a lot easier to see black and blue spots that are not supposed to be there moving when there's a variation. So again, we have a big party tonight. This is what I consider a big party, so it's going to be easy to keep somebody's skin tone in there.
Okay.
The next stop, I'm going to definitely show you some evidence from that particular camera. It's an older version of the camera, but it's still very solid evidence.
Okay.
The cold spot, just so you know, when it's going through and it's moving around, if you have the sky in your frame, it's going to automatically default to the sky just because it doesn't know what to measure.
Okay.
So if you can keep the sky out, you don't, I mean, it's going to be hard in some places, but do your best to try to keep that sky out of there so that way we can actually see where those cold spots
Will
are.
do.
You got it.
Thank
All right, Jesse, your particular camera. So point yours at me for light. That actually be kind of like a purple circle, right? So I'm actually, when I'm watching that video tomorrow, I'm going to be looking for things in the darkness and over the light here. Normally if you're shining in a darker area, I'm looking for things to kind of come up out of nowhere. I should reflect light because I'm soft. Okay, so if any kind of specter or any kind of sphere, anything is going to come through, it should not reflect regular light. It's only going to reflect the full spectrum light. So it's going to come up as a very bright white or a very bright purplish color. So this is brand new. I've only had it for about 2 months. I have a couple of things that are questionable, but again, nothing that I can say that's solid evidence yet. So hopefully fingers crossed we're going to be able to capture that. Just so you know, flip that bottom switch right here. Just so you know what it does, that's night vision. I keep the night vision off only because the other tours are always poking and prodding at my desk trying to find out what the hell we're up to. So I leave it off because obviously we're using lights that they can't see. So all they know is we have this great gizmo. The record button for you is going to be this guy. You'll tap it, it'll start flashing. Yep. At 9 minutes and 26 seconds, just so you have an idea, it will start a new file and flicker on your screen. It's nothing paranormal. It's literally because it only goes to 4 gigs at a time. So each new file is going to be 4 gigs. So we'll just keep piling them on, and then I splice them all together, and it doesn't put them into order on the first one. Just do 9 minutes and 20 seconds here, then 9 minutes and 20 seconds somewhere else, and then I go back to the first spot. It sucks, but unfortunately that's the way it's set. But again, you're going to be looking into the darker spots. One last thing so watch the camera. So this is short. Put the red button right here, and it'll shut off, and you still have long range working. If you're in too far, if you're getting too close or whatever, you can focus on your own expression, and that way you can kind of see how you have 2 perfect circles. Probably not
What carries looking at?
but I mean, you can kind of get the gist of what you're looking at.
What's inside the red barn?
Where are you going?
What is the horse's name? What color is the horse? What color is the horse? What color is the horse? Okay. Woo! Uh-oh. Where did they go? Are you having fun?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Have you gotten anything yet?
No.
Guy. Have you heard anything on yours?
Somebody special.
Somebody special.
Free
That would
RX.
be the affair.
Seems to be a theme because I had gotten a fair, backyard album rock chills, drunk, and wedding, and then manual.
What was the last one?
Manual,
Manual.
and now I have over.
Maybe they're over us being here. All right, so you guys got to remember, I'm out here 6 nights a week. Some of these questions are going to come up preemptively. I mean, not questions, but the answers. So if I see something, I'm like, all right, they're already giving us answers to the next location. We should just go. Let me finish this up. So, and again, anything that he does, it's based on his movements as well. So if he's too jerky with it, it will go off. He knows how to reset it, and he'll know to say, that wasn't me. See how he just kind of jostled it a little bit? That was him. I seen his hand move. So again, it's very sensitive
When do
to
you want me
motion.
to start recording or not?
You are already recording, my man.
Okay.
So I'll tell you when to stop. After
Okay.
the next location, like we'll get this first 45 minutes. I wanted people to have the instruction on how to watch it. And that kind of
Okay.
thing. All right, you guys ready to move on to the next location?
Yeah.
Instead of talking to ponies and football players?
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. We're going to go this way. Find us a good spot here. Weird, this lot is empty for a Friday. It's normally pretty full. Oh. Yeah, you're gonna get some activity for sure out of here.
We're getting something in that.
Yep.
Like
Somebody's gonna be
5.
on.
I got like 6.
You're up to 6 already?
Yeah.
All right, so you can turn off the REM pod portion for me while I go over the history, and I'll kind of give you the clue to the cue to put it back on. It's kind of weird that I don't have to tell the spirit boxes to turn down. I'm so used to hearing them. I have another different style, and I have like this attached ball speaker on it, but it's not very effective. So that's why I wanted to try this method tonight. So very cool. So welcome to another beautiful side of Charleston. I know, another parking lot. So I was like, why the hell does this guy keep taking me to parking lots? So,
Dark parking lots on a Friday night?
well, this used to be something. So again, that's why we're here. This is actually home to the Eliza and Charles Pinckney mansion. So their mansion sat in the front of this lot. Eliza's garden was lined up with that truck and went all the way across. And we're standing in the servants and enslavement quarters where they used to be for the home. So again, this is a very interesting lot. Spirit boxes, just so you guys know, I'm not going to be giving you questions like what color was George Washington's white horse. This is going to be, you're going to get the answers from your spirit boxes. So again, I'll give you prompting questions. If you go rogue with your own, it's just weird that the three of you are lined up right there, by the way. With the spirit boxes, if you guys go rogue, I just need to know what you asked to see if I can verify. So, Eliza and Charles had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. The son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. So if you didn't already know that, this is where that family originated from. So I normally tell my tourists, you don't want to talk about South Carolina politics, and neither do I, but we're going to move on anyway. You guys are all from here. So Eliza married Charles at a young age. I'm not going to tell you how old she was, but Charles was over double her age. So those are the kind of numbers you're looking for. I know, kind of creepy. I see the looks already. So it's not as creepy as you think. Who's scared?
As soon as you said that,
She actually married him out of love, believe it or not. This was not an arranged marriage. It wasn't for citizenship or anything like that. This was the 1740s. It was actually a marriage out of love. So her father over in England thought he was dying, and she didn't want to go home. He wanted to see all of his kids one last time. And she didn't want to go because she didn't think he was dying. So what happened is she got married, Dad got better, he starts sending over gifts from England. One of those gifts happened to be the plant indigo. You guys all know what indigo is here, I'm sure. All right, I don't have to explain it. So it started right here with her garden, right here in the middle of the lot, and she actually had to learn from her Gullah slaves back here on how to keep it cultivated in our weird temperatures. Obviously it gets cold here in the wintertime, right? But again, let's think about this. The slaves that we brought over were agriculturists. Why wouldn't she pick their brains and learn how to capitalize on this? This is exactly what happened. Then she moved it over to Steve Farm in Mount Pleasant. Huge, right? Now it's a cash crop. She calls Dad, not literally, this is the 1750s. So at that point, she says, I need some international contacts because rice plantations are starting to go downhill here. So now we have an international businesswoman in colonial times. This is something absolutely unheard of before our country was born. So I'm just giving you the tip of the iceberg of things that she's done for this country. However, there are a lot of weird facts about Eliza that we can get the answers to from our spirit boxes that often come up. Eliza was the second wife named Eliza from Charles. Back to back. I know, what a jerk, right? He's either very smart or very stupid. So however you want to look at it. So both Elizas have a maiden name that starts with the letter L. Find out which one we're talking to. I know, right? So, and it was only like a year and a half later. Like, one died, he married this one.
What a hoe! Wait, what did the first Eliza?
She was a wife. That was it. Nothing significant. Nothing as significant as this Eliza that I'm speaking of with the ending.
How did she die?
Which one?
The first one.
I don't know.
How did the second one die?
You're gonna find out.
Okay.
So, getting to Eliza's death. You can ask Eliza anything you want to about her death. She's pretty open. Eliza, how old were you when you died? What did you die from? Where are you buried? And what U.S. president was a pallbearer at your funeral? So again, these are very significant, definitive questions. Let's see, the mansion, you can obviously ask what happened to it. It's not here anymore. And no, the answer is it turned into Molly Darcy's. Find out what tragedy actually happened to the mansion. I don't know how long you guys have actually lived here. Molly Darcy's used to sit on this lot. It was an Italian restaurant, I think, or Irish restaurant. I don't know. But anyway, so obviously it's not here. Then you can ask when that happened. So you get the year. That's a big one too. You already know she had at least one. I'm going to tell you she had more than one. But try to tread lightly with this. Just because there's a tragedy among those kids, if we push the bear too much, all activity will stop, including any EMF readings that we're getting from the 2 years over here. So try to find out maybe what the names of the kids were, how many she had, how many boys, how many girls. Just leave it alone. What happens normally is I'll scratch my head after a tour going, why didn't I have much activity? And then I get a phone call from somebody that says, we were asking about what happened to the child. I'm like, well, thanks. You tell me after. You know, because we could have just ended it real early. But again, just try to tread lightly. We want some activity, so just don't poke the bear. As far as, I think that about covers all of the basic questions. If you guys go rogue, again, let me know what you're asking. Go after things we can actually prove. How she felt about a marriage, or how she was in her marriage, that kind of thing. I can't prove that stuff. All I know is that she was generally happy. Anything related to the slaves and the servants that were on the property, I can't prove. Unfortunately, there's no records. There's a few names mentioned here and there in some of her letters, but that's it. So again, I get a lot of people that want to try to go back and forth with it. I got to go after stuff we can prove so I can show you what you've actually done for them. We're going to go ahead and get your video started, so go ahead and tap your button on your end. Get your rep pod started, Dion, so you'll be good to go. Again, with the lasers, cars, no. I think you guys got this.
Is it better with a dark backdrop or a light backdrop?
Doesn't matter. With those lasers, it'll show up either way. I'm going to show you guys some pictures so you know what I'm looking for tomorrow of things that I've actually caught while on the tours. So that way you can actually have a better gist. But again, it doesn't matter. Also, the two gentlemen with cameras, people do not like their cars being filmed. They don't know what we're doing out here. So if somebody's going to one of their vehicles, you're just going to point your cameras the other way. So it's kind of like Jesse's filming that whole group going to their vehicle right now. So just wanted to point it out.
Will do.
We are going to spend about 10 minutes here, minimum, trying to capture what's going on. This is the chance where I give you guys a head start. I'm going to check you guys in on the websites where you guys bought your tickets, and then I'm going to start bouncing around with all of you to find out what's going on with your spirit boxes and all the activity and taking some notes. So let's spread out, stay away from cars, let's have some fun. Let's see what you captured. Now his EMF wants to light up. Your EMF's lighting up now. It was dead that whole time. I was telling the history.
Eliza, what's your middle name?
Maiden. Maiden name, not middle. She can't hear me. She's got earbuds.
What's your middle name? How old were you when you married?
I was trying to move around while you were talking from different angles and see if there was anything.
Well, we were going to try to put a gimbal on there for a little bit more of a stable video. And that way it would actually capture if something was moving, because it'll detect movement, but when I have a group of 10, you know, it's going to detect whoever's moving around. But I think with that extra battery pack on the back, it's going to be really difficult to do. So we're always upgrading the equipment, you know, and that kind of thing. So a gimbal, I think, would be way more fun for you guys to hold instead of your hand covering part of the screen, you know, a little bit more comfortable. I just don't know if I can do it with that battery pack, and unfortunately it's necessary with that FLIR. The FLIR only lasts an hour. So without that battery pack, I run a 2-hour tour. You know, I'm not going to be flipping. I mean, that's a $500 camera. I'm not going to throw another $500 camera on there that's fully charged. I'd rather just keep the $10 battery pack on the back, and in that way it can, you know. But nice slow movements from. Actually, while you're standing here, I can show you the a piece of evidence. I usually wait till here because this is where it occurred. It actually happened up in that top right corner where that lamppost is. This was about a year ago, but it is probably my most significant evidence from that camera. Find the folder. I keep all the photos for the lasers and whatnot. Everybody gets their own folder, and then all the evidence of stuff that's solid, I put it obviously in an evidence folder. So the orange is the wall. So you're going to see 2 living heads walking past them. Do you see it?
Right.
Okay, so they're alive. No big deal on living people, right? We want dead people. So right about there, they're going to go the opposite way. You're going to see 2 black heads. So there's always somebody in view because they should have been the same color, technically.
Right, sure.
And firemen and mechanics will use that. I mean, I don't know what you do for a living, but firemen and mechanics use that camera on the daily. So I'll constantly send this to them, like, hey, verify this for me. Verify this for me. You know, that kind of thing. And time again, it's the same video. They all say the same thing. It's not a car. It's too far away. Or it's too close to be a car. You know what I mean? It's obviously 2 heads moving in tandem. You know, you can definitely see it because they go frame by frame with it. You know, they know how to analyze it way better than I do because all I'm looking for is ghosts and shit.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I give it to a fireman and they're like, yeah, that's a ghost, man.
Wow.
Like, I got nothing else for you.
Wow.
So
that's great.
But I mean, I have other pieces. I just finished up school, so I haven't been able to cut them out and put them in the evidence folder yet, because that takes a lot of time to cut and crop and, you know, get it all posted and all that mess. But I got to get it up there, because October's been, as you can imagine, I'm swamped, like just swamped.
I think this stuff is neat, you know. How did you get into business?
Well, I had a real job once upon a time.
I retired from a real job.
I walked away from a real job. 6 figures, doing well, just walked away. And I went to school for writing, and I wrapped up my master's degree just this past summer, and it's in writing as well. And I was already writing books. Thank you. I was already writing books and doing this kind of like for fun with psychic friends of mine and no equipment. And then somebody talked to me about becoming an oral storyteller instead of just, you know, writing fiction all the time. Okay. And I already had a podcast and, you know, that kind of thing. So I was like, dude, I don't want to just do a normal ghost tour. Like that's for the birds. That's for tourists.
I've been through the old jail.
Yeah.
That was an experience, anything. But obviously, we weren't carrying equipment either.
Yeah.
This is interactive, you know, with you and.
They actually were doing some interaction, a lot with the laser lights and that kind of thing. Not a whole lot, but they were charging a lot.
This was years ago.
Yeah, I mean they've upgraded, but they're not doing it anymore. They're not even doing tours anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So there's something going on with the building. I don't know what the story is, but all my tourists tell me like they've been trying to get in there, and you know that's really my only competition. You know, so I mean it's the jail, or do you want to do this? You know, and I'm giving you real facts, and they're making stuff up. So I mean the place is haunted, but
well, the tour that came out before us. I was with my 2 sisters. One of the girls, the tour guide, hey, show them the picture. And supposedly, before they ever went into this one big room, there's a silhouette in the window. And
that's common.
He was like, there was nobody in that room.
Yeah.
We had not gone in there yet.
Yeah, it's pretty common. Orbs up in there. Normally, I've done an investigation just on the outside. I had enough from the outside to say, I don't need to go inside. Like, I'm good. But a lot of it was just names. And it was a lot of, like, names that could be, like, first or last names. So for me to try to verify all of them, I would have been down at, you know, city records for weeks. It was like Michaels, James.
I had a coworker of mine years and years ago went in for a tour, and he showed me a picture. It was like 2 red dots, and he's like, "What is that?" And he told me, he's like, "We're looking up a stairwell." I'm like, "Exit sign." Hold on. And he showed a picture with the flash.
Yeah.
There's no exit sign. He goes, "What are them 2 red dots?" And he believed in this stuff, you know. He was like looking at pictures and orbs, and he's like,
photos, like just same folder. I'm getting ready to go show these girls anyway with the lasers. So I caught this just a few weeks ago over at the Big Red Barn. There's the pen. There's the dots at the bottom. You can see it underneath that boost post. See the dots?
Okay.
This is not supposed to be there.
That green?
Yeah.
This flashing right here.
Yeah. That's not supposed to be there.
Oh, that's right. You said there's nothing until you...
Right, until something goes through it. So my wife, she went to school for photography and graphic design. She gets all these pictures, because sometimes I'm just like, honey, I have no clue.
Oh, wow.
And she'll go through and she'll analyze it. She's like, there's 3 layers in there. So something, whatever is in there, it's 3 layers deep.
Holy smoke.
Like the way it's separated. So the way she goes in, she looks at it with a whole different eye than what I do. Like if I can see like little dots and like certain things that'll come through, like this one was pretty obvious. Like obviously, why do I have a spiral on squares? So that's obviously some kind of round whatever. But some of this stuff is so small, you don't catch it until you stare at it. See, it's just below the pen, just enough.
Wow.
So can't explain it, but I know if I had activity in that location at that specific night. So that's why I do this stuff like first thing in the morning, so it's fresh on the brain. Because these tours, I mean, I do a lot of these tours. So again, if I don't go through your data and take notes for myself on your analysis, I'm not going to remember everything. That's why I get everything done by noon, so I can remember everything.
Wow.
Because I got another one tomorrow night that's jam full. You know, it's just as full as this one. So not to say that last night's tour is not memorable, but most of that's already gone. There's a couple pieces I was like, oh wow, that was good stuff, but most of it it's the same stuff. It happens over and over and over again.
Wow.
So again, I'm out here 6 nights a week.
Interesting.
All over the wife, see how she's doing.
That's it.
Hey!
Hi.
Got anything?
No, he was talking to me. We were talking about how...
You're supposed to be working, Doug.
Oh,
Don't
well,
talk.
yeah,
I'm just kidding.
saying.
And he said it was the maiden name, not the middle name. But you couldn't hear him because you had the headphones.
Oh. Oh.
But yeah, he showed me a video of this parking lot. And he said, over here you're gonna see two heads walking by, and there he says, okay, they're orange, right? They're like, you know, like you know.
Like I'm red or orange, yeah.
I'm red, you know.
Yeah.
He goes, now watch them walk this way. Okay, in a minute they'll walk back this way. They were dark.
And it was just heads?
Two dark heads.
Oh my god.
It's like they should have been orange.
Wow.
Close, but no cigar. I need specifics. I'm not going to rate that one down. How's your footage going? Stop recording? I stopped recording. Oh, okay. You didn't need to. Oh, really? Yeah. Well, it flicked over. And that's okay. Just let it keep going. That's fine. What was the height? Have you seen yours go to red yet? Like all the way up? Yeah, that was around the same time as well. So we were standing something. So that's the highest spike I can get out of you. So it's going to be pressures on you to see if I actually had that thing up to 89 last night in this location. So kind of see how far you can get it going. And you keep getting blue and purples. Like that's craziness.
Yeah,
So can I see your word list and kind of see if there's anything relevant? Because there are other things in the story that I don't tell you on purpose. Like get something else related to gardening, like dig, dirt, shovel. You know, she was a botanist, so obviously her hands were in the dirt a lot. But I would actually kind of go off of what was painful, since you guys seem to get kind of a calm answer response out of that. Do the rest of your watch to see what can go on with that end. So again, dive into what was painful. Again, we want to take the lead of what we have. Have we asked any of the questions? That's more the scale of pain, is it not? Is that the right spelling? That's the name. I think that's the name.
I asked what took them the mansion
And that's close. We're going to discuss that. Like, that's really, really close. So I would, between the two, between what was painful and really what took the mansion down.
EMF was blinky blinky.
Yeah. So again, I'm hoping we're going to get a lot more readings out of the EMF on this end. We're already getting, blue to purple, which is good. I told him to play in the middle range. Because when you go to the extreme of one, nothing or all the way, with the motion sense, it kind of shows like, hey, Eliza, if you're here, make it go to blue. You know how this box works. That way she knows to only get so far. So that way it's not a, all right, I'm going to just touch it and make it go to red. It's a matter of you're getting a specific response. That's why we do it that way. So, how are the earbuds working?
Oh, excellent.
Okay. Earbuds good on your end too?
Yes.
Okay. So, this is weird because I'm so used to helping to listen because people have a hard time with this. So I figured the earbuds would definitely help. All right. So, keep going.
Good on you. That's lasers.
You guys, lasers, you guys want to see some proof? You can hold me the phone here.
Eliza, what is your maiden name?
many children did you have?
Any other words pop up on your end?
No.
That's one. So she was actually involved when the John Locke idea of tackle Ross. Basically, means the kids start off with an empty slate, and you can use ultimately form. And she was actually part of that education piece. I'll get the word teaching here sometime too. It's not a big thing with her, but again, I actually had a guest teaching on it. It looked at pieces for this whole, a lot of people tabula rasa thing. I'm like, I never even heard of it. I had to go home and she was sending me books, which I'm fine with. I'm like, teach me something about these people. So, but again, it is somewhat relevant. We see if something else comes up with it. Is this childhood or mine?
know what she taught.
It was probably generalized. I mean, we're talking like under 5. So like preschool ages for us. So again, this wasn't like, oh, I'm going to teach you mathematics or botany. You know what I mean? It was like, I'm going to teach you. So again, I'm not convinced yet it's relevant to the very term. I know she found it.
But the whole idea was not to play a game. Right.
We're gonna give it another minute to see what Sam's got going on.
Okay. You got anything?
No. You okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Bonkers that it keeps going to blue. Have you gotten higher than that EMS plate?
Yeah, I got up to 46.
46.
That's good stuff, man.
Where was you get anything?
It was when Jesse and I were
Kind of.
kind of a couple close
Oh, really? So got the highest gap.
Well, that's true. I'm getting good reading. And then we got
Eliza, what is your maiden name?
Nice.
So yeah.
Eliza, what is your maiden name? Eliza, how would you call us if we took pictures as we were getting closer to the box, but like further away so we're not so far out? Eliza, speak so that you're just for asking. How old were you when you died? She has a name.
Eliza. I love the one.
It keeps going to blue, which is just mind-boggling to me. And he's been in different spots. So,
He likes you.
Can I see my lip stuff? I did ask her how old she was when she died, and it said 4 years.
you're going to see once we're walking on there, it's going to do that.
Oh.
I think she was a little bit older than that. Thank you.
Second, third thought, but not all the way up to where the way it was. It was just kind of like a heart. Work closer, but I don't want to. Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, so, they can have everybody mark the mark. Yeah, close. First, I'll let you continue. Yeah, I'm surprised. You want to. This is last year. So, yeah, the only reason I know that is because.
Eliza, how old were you when you died?
And I also got a fluctuation of about 30.
But
Eliza, how old were you when you died?
let's get you guys some answers. Let's get everybody pulled in. So we got a lot more locations to go. Let's pull it in, guys. All right. So did anybody hear any names specifically? Just Gail. Alright, so as I kind of go through this, maybe some of you will start to click why I'm asking these questions. Alright, so let's get you guys some answers. That way you guys aren't left in the dark, obviously. And then what will happen from here is we're going to go up to Lodge Alley, and I'll kind of explain what's going to go on up there. So, you guys all seem to go after her maiden name first, so we'll kind of start with that. Her maiden name was Lucas. So, Eliza Lucas Pinckney is what she went by. The first wife was Eliza Lamb, just like the animal, L-A-M-B. So Lamb and Lucas were the names we were looking for there. Eliza Lucas's death, she was 70 years old when she died in 1793. That was a long time to be living in colonial times for a female. She died from breast cancer. Yeah. So some of the questions you guys were asking, painful, a long time, all of those constant kind of things that you guys were hearing. Keep in mind, we didn't even know what breast cancer was in 1793. We're going based off her medical records. So again, just kind of keep that in the back of your head. That was in Philadelphia while she was up there trying to get treatment for whatever she thought she had. That's where she died. That's also where she's buried. So this should also answer the question why Stories in a Cemetery doesn't take you to actual cemeteries. You're not going to hang out near your gravesite when you're gone. You're going to go to your beautiful mansion in Charleston, 450 miles away. That's just kind of how this goes. So, as far as the president, any guesses now that you know what year it was? 1793? The pallbearer for her funeral? I see all the hamster wheels going.
Washington?
Washington. It was Washington.
Wow.
So, and that wasn't something that the tourism office put in my head. It was something I actually learned from the tours, which is where most of this information comes from, by the way. So, yeah, I actually got George Washington on 2 different spirit boxes in the same week. I'm like, there's got to be a connection somewhere. So.
Well, he did come to visit Charleston at one point.
He did. Not to mention the Pinckneys, there was always a governor in the family. So he knew his governors pretty well. There was only 13 of them, if you recall. So again, when he did come to Charleston, believe it or not, the Pinckneys actually hosted a lot of his meals. So again, he knew them pretty well. So at his request, he was a pallbearer at her funeral. So pretty honorable state. Let's see here, the kids. Let's get into that because that's where this whole arms and legs thing is going to come into play. So there was 4 kids. Charles, then there was Thomas. Thomas actually got hit in his left leg by a musket ball, which shattered it in the Battle of Camden, a Revolutionary War battle. So Camden is obviously just south of here. You guys somewhat know that, I'm sure. But again, I would have people with their right leg start hurting in here. It's happened to me twice this past year. And it was his left leg that got shattered. But then the only reason the clue came up was because his name came up and then, ball or whatever the other word was. But I always had 2 clues plus somebody's actual pain. And then there was Baby George. Baby George didn't make it. We don't know if Baby George was days or weeks old. The death certificate basically has the month and year as the same as his birth and death. So there's no grave site, there's no headstone, different times.
Started talking about that. There was like a loud squealing.
Oh, like a baby crying?
No, like a lady yelling.
Oh, so she definitely did not want me talking about that tonight. Baby George, just so you know, was named after Eliza's father. So they have 3 Georges we're working with. Her father, her son, and the president that took her to her grave. Funny story, movie buff. If her father's name is George, and you know Eliza's maiden name, what's her father's full name? George Lucas. So, again, it's just an easy way for me to remember it. So, and most of the time when I have teenagers on the tour, they look at me and say, her dad invented Star Wars? I'm like, no, wrong timeline.
Wow.
Wrong timeline. It happens. So, let's see. Oh, one last child. Her name was Harriet. She actually wrote, she married into the Horry family, which you guys know is Myrtle Beach, because that's Horry County, right? So, again, wouldn't have been a 2.5-hour car ride. It would have been a lot of letter writing. So, I look for things related to that type of ink, paper, pen published, because all of those letters were published into one volume. So, again, Harriet doesn't always pop up. It's usually Thomas or Charles, the son Charles. So again, just depends on which one is actually here. So the mansion did catch fire in 1861, almost 70 years after Eliza's death. It started up at the Harris Teeter up the street. A couple of hobos at the time were trying to stay warm. It got out of hand. Normally it's lit up, but got a couple?
Let's get murdered.
names on your end?
I just heard "kill me."
Oh, that's not
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So the ghost is walking to San Francisco is coming.
Well, when we crossed that last crosswalk coming down Tuesday, that's where the original Charlestown Wall used to be. So if you guys didn't know that, it actually ran on Cumberland Street. So we're going to go back up there and I'll point it out again because it is reference to another story, which is why I like to bring you here first. However, this is one of the first streets we ever had. So you can see obviously how wide it is, just wide enough for a horse and buggy. People used to live here. These two buildings, Lodge Alley and this building behind me, were not here. Little tiny shotgun houses. So again, I have the full list of residents of every person that's ever lived here, along with their occupation and the year that they were here. It's kind of like a census list, but it's not as detailed. So the names I commonly name are Benjamin and John. The reason I bring that up is because they happen to show up on the same night about every 6 to 7 weeks, and they both lived here in 1801. So it doesn't sound very significant because those are two very common names, but that's 2 out of 5 people that lived here in 1801. So I would say that that's pretty common stuff, that I keep getting the same names over and over and over again. So this is more like a residual ghost, whereas what we were just dealing with over at the Pinckney site was more intelligent. You're getting intelligent responses. With this, I'm looking for those names. I'm looking for the things that they did for a living. Every once in a while, a third name will pop up. The name is Jane. It's not so much as a common name as plain Jane anymore, right? You don't hear the name Jane out of somebody. Who is going to say the word Jane, or the name Jane on the radio? That's a third person that lived here in 1801. So again, something happened specifically here that I'm just not getting enough data from. But at the same time, this is called Lodge Alley because this is where the Freemasons had their Masonic lodge. So again, hence the name. I do get the words brick, clay, Illuminati has shown up here a couple of times. I know, I can't make this stuff up. It's a very interesting alley. They did do an archaeological dig on this location, unlike the Pinckney Mansion. They did find some of their silverware and tools and pieces of their clothing and that kind of thing. And it makes sense that these people were considered lower class. The other part of the wall was across the street on East Bay Street.
You said lower class instead of
Oh, that's very significant.
He said what?
Dignity. They did have actual jobs, they were just poor. But the smell of low tide will be coming through here quite often, unlike what you guys see on the Battery where the houses are slanted long ways, right? So you guys know that those are slanted that way for 2 reasons. First off, it was tax reasons. You were always taxed on the front of your house. So if you had a skinnier part of the front of your house, you weren't taxed as much. So the Pinckneys were very bold, right? Because they actually put their house in the whole front on the actual street side. So they were taxed probably pretty heavily. However, those Battery houses, like they're slanted that way because the air conditioning, there wasn't any. They needed the breeze, but they didn't want the smell of low tide, like what the people down here were probably getting right down their street. So again, it makes complete sense. Sometimes the tools and silverware that were found in that dig will show up on spirit boxes as well. I'll get things like wooden fork, and I'll find in the artifacts there was a fork with a wooden handle. Things like that will pop up. Yes, I do a lot of digging when things come up that I haven't seen before. So it's not going to be just a lot of quick links to send you guys. I do research in the mornings of this stuff. So we are going to go through the rest of this alley. I don't know what's going on up there.
There's another ghost tour that actually uses the celly too.
There's not many though. That's one of the reasons why I like it. If you guys didn't notice, I've taken you to places that other places don't go.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're about to hit the more popular area, like up near St. Philip's and all of that mess, where we're going to see larger groups. But normally I like to come down here because we have it all to ourselves. But that's kind of the main reason why I like to come down here. As we go through the rest of the alley, obviously we're going to continue to film in this darkened area to see what's going to pop up out of the cameras. Continue listening to your spirit boxes, which is perfectly fine. Looks like he's going to end it over there, which is perfectly fine by me. We are literally on the edge of where I'm allowed to take you. I still have to follow tourism laws. So no lasers as we go through the neighborhood up there, up on State Street. We are going to go over to Cumberland and go around up by Philadelphia Alley. Does anybody not know the story of Philadelphia Alley here?
I don't know really.
Okay. Okay. Cool. That's a great story, actually. Yeah. Weird, because that's probably one of the most common stories that all the tourists tell. And I used to take people down there, but it's residential at the end, and I was the new guy that got caught. By the way, you guys joined the annoying tour group. You have your blinkies and your noisemakers. So last Thanksgiving, the night before, the new neighbor came out of the house, and my team was outside, like right outside his house, and I got a phone call the next day. So I had to reroute the tour a little bit. That's where I added the St. Philip's and the Anne Bonny story by the Power magazine, and we're going to get into that. But normally I would take you all the way down Philadelphia Alley because it is kind of creepy, especially with the story that's there. But I'm still going to tell you the story anyway, so let's go up that corner and see what we can find. Now the carrot on. Here you go.
When we were driving, we got fancy at the stones.
Okay. That's a good possibility. I don't have to look at that right, so definitely write that one down for sure. What did you get?
Crust and bird. Right back.
Burn?
Bird.
Oh.
Nothing but a bird. Burn.
Great with the cameras if you want. So this is actually, we named it Philadelphia Alley after dueling became illegal and stupid. So this used to be called Duelers Alley. If you didn't know that already. We all tell the story of one specific duel. It's a very interesting duel only because I can prove it. It actually happened and there's a lot of evidence. So Charles Pinckney, the husband of Eliza, is buried at St. Philip's and we are half a block away. So
We also have ledge.
ledge?
Yeah.
Is somebody jumping off the ledge? Is that what I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
L-E-D-G-E?
Yeah.
I just used it in a sentence, not because it was a part of the
Oh,
story.
okay.
Like, they're like looking at each other like, did he say ledge in the story? Alright, so from here, we're actually going to cross back over the street and go up to St. Philip's. Let me show you guys a few things up there before we dive into the female hunter. Fuss?
Fuss.
It's kind of an odd word.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Unfortunately, I don't have, like, that's a rechargeable one.
Oh, so you have to
I don't,
replace it.
yeah.
Okay, no worries. I'll just fix it.
My battery died. He doesn't have a replacement, so I'm gonna hang out with you.
Okay. It's acting weird here. See if I can get you in frame.
You don't remember which parking lot you parked in?
It's washed out. Nothing.
Is it picking up?
There's nothing.
I might ask him about that.
It's weird because that spirit box that you use,
Uh-huh.
I actually use that in called a Faraday method, and what that is that it's basically in a.
Weird. Wait a minute.
What did it do? Did it give you any white lines?
It was giving me all sorts of orange. It was just washed out, like it was washed out.
But there was like a blue stripe at the top.
See?
And you recorded the whole thing?
See? Yeah. I turned it off to turn it back on.
Well, that's because your finger's in front of it.
Is my finger in the way?
Yep. Normally people do that at the beginning, not the end. Yeah, that's your finger.
Where's my finger now?
Right there. You're covering the lens. The camera's right there.
Oh, I'm thinking it's over here.
That thing will act goofy here. That's why I was like, did it
Okay.
give you white lines? Because I've seen it where I did a small group one night and it was just, me and the spirit box person. That person's filming us. A white film went over them in the camera and then their spirit box stopped working. We went about 10 to 15 minutes, feet away. It started working right again and on record. It was a crazy night. Like,
That's weird.
Yeah.
I realize I'm thinking the camera's here. I'm thinking of my phone and like.
Yeah.
The camera
sorry.
being there.
But that Faraday method is basically I'll put it in it's like a little metal pouch, and what it does is it takes out the radio chatter, the one I was actually asking you to listen for, and it just gives you white noise, and it does it on purpose. And I was like, I only use it on my investigations. I was like, I got this extra one. Let me see if I can play with this tonight. And I charged it, and it was at like 3/4 of the way, and normally it doesn't take that much battery. So the fact that yours died, again, nothing paranormal, but I'm like, wow, that one drained really quick versus the one I use every night. You know, because I normally just have the one that you have in that metal pouch, just waiting for my investigations. You know, so I have that extra piece because you guys aren't going to listen to just white noise.
Right.
You know what I mean? This is why I give you guys that radio chatter to listen for it, but I'll have to know to make sure I get those double charged for everything. I mean, my charging station on my desk is ridiculous. As soon as I get home, everything just comes out of the bag, and you know, the wife's trying to crawl into bed with the dogs, and I'm uploading stuff, and you know, that whole mess. But well, he and I got to chat quite a bit, but is this what you guys were hoping for?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't really know what to expect. I've really been trying to not think about it because I get spooked really easily.
She's been saying all week.
And so I'm like, I'm not thinking about it. I'm not going to think about it. And like all day today, you know, I was like at work, I'm like, we're going ghost hunting tonight. And they're like, what's that? What is that? I'm like, I don't know. I'll tell you on Monday, unless I'm in a psych hospital.
So the whole point of this, honestly, is to prove that ghost hunting doesn't have to be the scary shit you see on TV. We talked about history tonight. History that some of this stuff you guys probably already knew. You knew what the original Charlestown Wall was. You know what the gunpowder magazine was.
I know the powder magazine, but
you know that
I don't know.
But Charleston used to be the walled city, like, and that's a pretty general term. You know what I mean? Like when you're down here, you see stuff. Oh, this was the wall. You go to the Provost Dungeon, they show you the wall because there's a piece of it in there. So again, showing you where the bastions were and how the wall was set up. And like I told, I think it was Marilyn, I think her name was. Like she was just like, I don't know much about the city, and I grew up here. And I was like, the fun thing is that you're going to remember that in Lodge Alley, you interacted with hopefully some people that lived there. So that way you're going to remember that was one of our first streets. That's the whole point. When I get little kids on this tour, I see them come back a year later and they still remember some of the locations I took.
Oh, wow.
So that's the whole point. It's interactive. So the fact that these spirit boxes are telling you things, it's not me telling you the answers, right? You notice that. I gave you some, you know, just to kind of egg you on. But again, if Eliza told you how old she was when she got married, which by the way, she was 22 and he was 45. I don't think I gave that away at the last place.
I did hear the name Susan when we were over there.
Over?
At the Pickney parking lot.
Okay.
But
I don't know that there's, I mean, I'm always looking for like who is friends and family.
Yeah.
You know, I do a lot of research. I could probably write a book on the Pinkies at this point, just because I have to do so much research on it.
yeah.
And something new will pop up. Like this Thomas thing and the George Washington bit, I didn't know any of that shit. And as far as like the tour guides you guys see, they're really licensed. I'm not licensed. I didn't take the test. You don't have to.
This is all research you've done on your own.
Yeah.
That's
so,
really
I
cool.
basically walk around town with an EMF or a millimeter trying to figure out where readings are coming from and if there's location, if something that happened there, and am I allowed to be here? Because obviously with the Philadelphia Alley thing, I get a little spooked.
You're right.
You know, but like Monday, I made like one friend in this industry. I'm taking his tour Monday night just to see what spots he's going to, because I need to change it up. Every November I need to change it up now, because I'm getting repeats. You know, I've been out here for 2 years, I'm starting to see repeat people.
Yeah.
So they don't want to go to the same places again. You know, if they do, Pinckney's never going to leave. I'm going to do the Pinckney Mansion forever, because nobody goes there. But like all of this, I like this story, it works, but it doesn't give me something every single night, which I can't. It goes down on paper. I can't make them do
Right.
shit. But if I can try to get to like Circular Church or the Unitarian Church has Edgar Allan Poe history. It's just really far away from here. And me as a writer, it's one of those things I would love to add that. It's just too damn far.
Yeah.
You know, this was only half a mile. Like that's all we did, and we probably spent more time together than like what time is it? I'm trying to flip my watch. It's almost 11. Like just to show you, I don't give a shit. Like we're having fun. You guys caught a lot of stuff going on at Pinckney's. Hopefully, I get some stuff out of Lodge. You know what I mean? It's Friday night. I don't care. You know what I mean? You guys are all having a blast, and everybody has stopped me and said something along the way.
I never knew that parking lot was where a Pinckney house
And
was.
most people wouldn't. And what's funny is,
You know, I mean, I know some Charleston history,
yeah,
but I never knew there was a
my
house
main
there.
competitor, Bulldog Tours, is right around the corner on Anson. They're not going there. Why the hell would they? There's nothing to see there. That's why, like...
That's nice you got it all to yourself, pretty much.
And same thing with Lodge Alley. That's why they go in there. That's why I went across the street of Philadelphia Alley. Nobody's stopping over there. I'll normally take you guys like right there close to the church, but I don't go all the way up because my point is I don't want to take you to just cemeteries. Again, you're not going to get much activity. It's fun to tell the tourists some of our local haunts, but again, if I get something out of it, great. If I don't, we're moving on. They were fun stories. We're gonna go to there's like three major places: Pinckney, because Big Red Barn is Lodge Alley, and here.
They neglect one.
Yeah, they're not going to dig you, Cal. They want Mandy.
Check out those docks.
Mm-hmm. What did the little one do?
I guess that was for kids.
Well, where's the head go?
Or is that where they put their feet in and they have them sit in a chair or something? I'm trying to put my finger in there to give it that blue hue.
Can I see my phone a second?
Can you get it?
Yeah.
What is the temperature you're getting in the center crosshairs, Doug?
79, 78.
Okay. What do you have on your end?
Still caliber.
We can just put some slightly chillier here. I don't know if it's just because this part of the parking lot's probably shaded. That goes for like I'm saying.
Those get shoved into the backpack every day. There's a temperature limit on the side.
Yeah, that's to alert you if it drops by like 5 degrees.
Did you get it?
It's pretty annoying.
I'm not getting anything significant over here. We were talking about that earlier. Like, there's not like any major movement with like heat on this machine, and I'm not getting anything that sounds significant either. So, yeah. I don't know. We had more at the last place.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
What grade did you meet Alex? Were y'all in sail together?
we went to like after school stuff together. That's right. Yeah, I think it was like second, maybe. I think it was third.
Third?
Third was a big one. I remember that.
Were you guys in sail together? Were you being the models of the historic buildings?
You guys made models in your gifted talented program?
Yeah. I don't
I
think I
didn't
did
make
that
models.
specifically, but I remember I did stuff like that later. Okay, Alex
made
did
us
the powder
write
mountain.
books.
I just thought that was funny that we ended up
No,
here.
I
I didn't know
didn't
about
have
that
to
at
write
all.
books.
So
I
that's
had to
really
write
cool.
essays
Yeah, I
and
kept that little thing
You
forever.
know, that was
and
my
then I was
thesis.
like, okay,
I had to write a new novel.
Oh yeah, that almost is not gonna hold up forever,
Where did
right?
he go? What's that? Where did he go? Oh, I got Judge.
Let's see if my name comes up. Well, that's because he had the same name as me. It was
Oh,
Nicholas
okay.
Laws. That was the judge's name that he had in Maryland.
Oh,
Not to mention, I was just telling them about the judge over here, Nicholas Trott. So he was our first Chief Justice. Then we have Chief Justice Nicholas Laws in Jamaica. So we'll see if my name shows up. That would be very interesting.
Sort of sexist pop up.
Give it another minute or two. Did you get a temperature?
Is that even a word?
Okay, after all of that, I gotta order a new one.
I heard the guy and then female right after.
So I had another night. I had two ladies come up on the radio that said they think we're guys, and they were just laughing about it, and that was all that came up. I'm like, are you kidding me?
That's wild.
I can't make this shit up. I just can't. All right, let's head over to the wall so I can set my bag down. I'll collect the spirit box last, and Sam's listening intently. Alright, so let me stop your audio, kind of give you guys a gist of how much data you're going to actually have. So